Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. Welcome back to Juniversal month. Ba, 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 ba. And today we are going to talk about the 2006 comedy movie film Accepted, which is this is actually a big deal because it is the last revisited review for this year's Juniversal month. Again, I haven't made up my decision whether or not I'm going to do one next year. We'll wait till next year for that. But yeah, all the rest of these are first time watches or first time reviewings. I've seen a couple of the rest of these. Three that I have. I have six after this, right? My notebook goes over there because I had it over there yesterday when Big LT was here, and I hadn't picked it up off the floor. So screw it, I'll go get it. Why not? Where's the pen though? Where's the pen? Pen is not here. And the Juniversal thing got ripped off. And the pen is not here anywhere. I just hit the thing, so now it goes to the next. I have a Sharpie. I'll mark it off for now. I'm a little behind here. So I gotta mark off the rundown. Cat in the Hat. And this one. 6. Yeah, and I've seen 5 out of the 6, and only one of them I haven't seen, I guess. I haven't reviewed any of them, so yeah. So Accepted came out in 2006, which I mentioned before is the year I graduated high school, and I never went to college, so I never needed to. I had a job waiting for me because I worked. When I went to, I had this thing because I'm autistic, mentally handicapped. Oh, no shit, you're mentally handicapped? I couldn't tell. I just thought you were a moron. Also, yes. So, uh, so I had a job. I went through what was called school of work at the time, and what it was is like for a period during school, a couple hours, I'd go to where I work, my job, doing piecework at the time, and then I'd come back and do the rest of my school day. And so I did that for 3 years from when I turned 16 till I was 19. So, yeah, because I graduated when I was 19. And so after I graduated, I did get a letter from community college, but it's like, I have a job, and I've been working there now 23 years at this point. All right, 23, 24, was it 26? 23 years, 2003. 23 years now, so it'll be 23 years in September. So, I'm doing pretty good, Not in the same department doing piecework. I'm a janitor, as you guys know. Clean those toilets, baby! So, yeah, I think I've done pretty well for myself. Yeah. So, but this movie makes a big deal, at least in the first half about college. It's so heavy-handed. I never realized how heavy-handed it is at the beginning of this. You have to go to college. College is very important. And then once you get into that, they just sort of demoralize how the real colleges do things and in support of what Bartleby and his friends are trying to do with their version of college, where it's like they harp at you about you have to go to college, and once you see how college is really like, it's like, actually, Bartleby is more on the right, even though he is technically committing a crime and should have went to jail at a point. And it, yeah. So this is the first time I've actually watched it on Blu-ray, because I got the Blu-ray. And unfortunately, unlike Ghost, which looks fantastic in HD, this is just a port over from the DVD, where they took the widescreen version, they upscaled it to HD, and they slapped it in the Blu-ray disc. That's all they did. And it looks no different than the DVD when I would watch it. And I hate it when they do that. That's lazy. But then again, this is Mill Creek. We're known for just slapping it, porting it over, and slapping it on there, giving just a little bit off scale, but it's not that much, you know, much better than the original would be. So, unfortunately, I don't know if even if it was a regular Universal release that it would have. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, and this this is another one where it's on the list and off the list because I wasn't sure if I was going to do it. I did briefly talk about this in a short during my college files that I did earlier this year or last year when it was I did it. That was fun, actually. Going through college movies and rewatching those in a row was kind of fun. But yeah, so our main character is Bartleby Gaines. There's a name, played by Justin Long, who at the point was close to 30. I think he turned 30 in 2009 because he was on Craig Ferguson in 2009 where he said, "I'm 30." He's 30. Now he's in his 40s at this point. My internet is so weird. Like it'll work and then it won't work and then it's 1978. So he was going to be 31 then. He's 47. So 2006. He was in his mid-20s. I'm not going to do it, but yeah. And so you have a recognizable cast. Besides Long, Jonah Hill. And this is one of the only movies I can actually stand Jonah Hill in. The 21 Jump Street movies are fine. But like, he is a little bit too much at first. But then, because they have to make him the naysayer and everything when they're doing this. No, you can't do that. You can't do no. But he's fine. Columbus Short, who I would like, and he has more to do in The Losers, which came out a couple years after this. Glenn, the actor Glenn, who played Glenn, I just talked about, was in, what was it? He played the older version of Gaten Matarazzo in Pizza Movie. I just talked about that not too long ago. And then there's Blake Lively, the future Mrs. Ryan Reynolds. Before that, she was still on Gossip Girl, I believe. I don't know. I watched that show for about a cup of coffee. I watched a few episodes and was like, no, this, not for me. Not for me. It was fine. You know. It's too girly. And come to find out, spoiler alert, in case you plan on watching Gossip Girl was a man. Don't know the character's name, but yeah. So yeah, and so it takes place in Ohio. He's a high school student. The end of this school year goes by pretty freaking quick. Because like at one point, the beginning of this, after this joke that is not funny because they go too long with it. Because like the whole thing is that they're doing fake IDs, right? And I you know, the joke, Glenn, they're like, Glenn, you take the shirt off. Why? Because it says you're a high school student, it's supposed to be fake ID. And they're like, hey, Jonah Hill shows up and says, hey, you can't do this? First case of, no, you can't do this. Why not? Because the vice principal comes in here every day and rubs one out with a Sears catalog or something. And then rather than them just leave, or they do the thing where he's doing like a choir or something, like a glee club. You'll have a glee club. Yeah, but why not just start now? And then he proceeds to just... This always feels like, at least watching this time, it feels like he was ad-libbing, and it felt like the masturbation joke just went too... Like, we get it. Can you just... Before the title card comes up, accept it, and then... Yeah. And then, like, so... her name is Monica, right? Monica Moreland. So Monica... Blake Lively's character, Monica, shows up. And you know what this is... He thinks she's like, oh, the prom's coming up, and I just thought... And he's like, yes. And she's like, you want to mow the lawn? And I'm like, okay. He says, yeah, sure, I'll do that. And then it goes from he's trying to get accepted to college. We don't see him alone. He's mowing the lawn later. And I was watching it, and I'm like, wait. No, it's his lawn that he's mowing, so it's not... I was like, wait a minute, wasn't it? No. And now, all of a sudden, they don't show the graduation. They're getting ready for college at a point where it's like they're at the college, they're at orientation and everything, and I'm like, or the college, they have the orientation, the parents are there, and I'm just like, we just skipped over the prom, which was mentioned. Why was it brought up that he was going to mow her lawn if we don't see him do it? Right? Usually you do something and you go back to it later, right? It's like, oh, well, you do this, and you see him doing it later. You do see him mowing the lawn. I wonder if that was part of, oh, we got to see him mowing the lawn. Well, it's too late for him to mow her lawn for prom now, so they have him mow his own lawn. You know, he's not living at his house anymore. Maybe it is after that. I don't know. But he is not accepted to any of the colleges he applied for. I cannot relate because I never applied to college. I got a letter from the local community college that said I could go there if I wanted. I did have a college in mind, but I never applied because it's just like I have a job. At the time I didn't. I was getting ready to start high school, and I went up to Winona, and it was for a summer. It's called the Summer Campus Connection in between my last year of middle school and the first year of high school. I went up there. And I'm like, if I go to college, I want to go here. And I never applied because I ended up getting a job, so I didn't need to, right? And yeah, so that Bartleby finds out he's not accepted to college, and he's like, I'm going to play it off. And he's like, no, I don't really go to college. Dad's like, you got to go to college. Because you don't go to college, you can't get a job, which is total fucking bullshit. You don't go to college. They even say you don't go to college, you can't get a good job. And it's also bullshit. I know there's a lot of high-paying jobs that like something like a doctor or a lawyer or shit like that. I get that. But you can get plenty decent jobs. My stepdad has a job working on the machines at Hormel. And he never went to no college, I don't think. Right? Just because you don't go to college doesn't mean you can't get a good job, right? A high-paying job at that, he's pretty decent pay. So it's not like, and I consider I have a good job. I'm cleaning toilets, so who cares? I make a decent wage, and it's fine. I'm making minimum wage, but it's fine. I mean, we don't technically make minimum wage, but I get as high as, I'm currently at the highest wage you can get. I'm at the limit until minimum wage goes up, and then it goes up again for me. So, but I'm doing real good. When the fact that they point out you'll never get a good job if you don't go to college is bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And it's that you have to go to college. Like I said, so ham-fisted here. College is important. You have to go to college. And then once you see the college situation, like at one point, after everything goes down, Bartley's like, I'm going to go to Harmon and I'm going to see what college is like. And he's like, the students are so drained and they're so stressed. And that's not what I want college to be at all. That's not how college should be at all. And it's like, I think it's very realistic. But yeah, so he and Schrader come up with, that's Jonah Hill's character's name, by the way, he comes up with the South Harmon Institute of Technology, which, yes, the initial spell out shit. Which, first time I watched this on Comedy Central, not during the Secret Stash, so it would bleep out. That's supposed, right? Yeah. Schrader, Sherman Schrader III, he's a legacy. So he's been accepted into his father's alma mater, Harmon College. And like, they go the extra mile making the dad so disappointed about getting into college. And it's like, it's not that bad. Like, so he didn't get to college. So he can find a local job. Right? They make it feel like it's the worst thing to ever happen to anyone ever if you don't get into college. Like, it's totally terrible. It's the worst thing ever. And that's just not the case, right? And then it just sort of starts to come together. You find out that Hans, I always thought it was Hans, like Hans, H-A-N-S, Hans. It's Hands, H-A-N-D-S is his name, Hans, like hands, because he's a football player. And also, he works good with his hands. He's a sculptor, he's an artist. Get it? Hands. Daryl, his real name is Daryl. Hans Holloway. Hans lost his athletic scholarship after he was injured. Glenn, who had a low GPA because he failed the SATs, He got a 0 on his SAT. You get 600 just for signing your name. That joke's been used so much. But you get points for just signing your name. You didn't spell your name right? That's different ones. Like, I never took the SATs. Again, I didn't need to. I had a job. I was waiting for me. I was ready, But, so, Glenn is now working at the Quicken Stop, but he gets fired for trying to make a shrimp slushy because he was hungry and thirsty. And then Rory also didn't make it to college. Rory got rejected to Yale. There's no room at Yale for Rory. For Rory at Yale. Yeah, so... But if I was the parents, so they make this website, they make it functional. He says they make it functional, and they say that acceptance is just a click away. And then the father just keeps making it worse. Where it's like, okay, I'm ready to drop you off. I'll be ready. Cool. I'll drop you off. He's like, oh, we need a facility now. So they go to this old mental hospital that Rory knew about. And they set it up. They don't completely set it up, which is a problem, but they set it up as a fake place, fake college. And then they need... Then the dad calls, like, I need to meet the dean. So they hire Schrader's uncle, who, by the way... They make a big deal saying that I believe that Bartley's family and Sherman's family know each other well. Yeah, they don't know his uncle, I guess. I don't know. There's some kind of barbecue they go to, whatever, and he just looks depressed at him. But, and it's Lewis Black, who probably didn't have any actual lines and was just told, insert rant here, because a lot of his scenes are just him ranting about shit. So I don't think there's probably some lines, but I'm pretty sure they gave him room to just do one of his rants whenever it was needed. Because if you ever watch any of his stand-up, that's what you get, the rants and the hand moves. My favorite one of his jokes, I found the end of the world, and it's in Texas. And I was in a mall, and I was in a Starbucks, and I came out, and across the hallway, from that very Starbucks was another Starbucks. I love that. Starbucks. I don't know. I always thought that's a funny joke. In the same building, across the hall in the same building as that Starbucks, another Starbucks. The end of the world in Texas. Yeah, I always found his stand-up funny. So, So they have him pretend to be the dean, and everything is working out fine, right? But here's the situation. If I'm the parents, you go to this, you're dropping everyone off, and I see they got a bunch of the foreign exchange student kids that Roy is looking after. You see a bunch of these kids wearing shit brown. That's the color brown. Shit brown. And then a bunch of your kids' friends are also there. And if I'm Mr. Gaines, he's supposed to be smart. He comes in, and his roommate his best friend is his roommate. How does that work out? Because don't you get assignments? And I know there's been plenty of TV shows. Boy Meets World had it where Sean and Corey were roommates. So I guess you're not assigned, but it's just what are the odds, right? And that all your kids' friends are all also going to the same college. Right? I don't know. A lot of red flags. And everything is fine. They're gone. They're playing video games and hanging out. And then we meet Abernathy Darwin Dunlap, who's supposed to have ADD. This is the most hyperactive person I've ever met with ADD. And I know a couple of people with ADD, and they can be pretty hyper. But this dude needs to be strapped down. Abernathy Darwin Dunlap. It's Robin Lord Taylor. Is that the actor's name? I'm pretty sure I'm right. Yeah, the Penguin from Gotham, and he's really good as the Penguin. He's really good as the Penguin in that show. But we also meet the Dean of Harmon College, Van Horn, who wants to tear down buildings close to Harmon to create the Van Horn Gateway, because you think it needs a giant ass gateway for his college. Right? We also see that Schrader is getting hazed by his fellow compatriots in the frat that he's trying to go for. He's dressed up like a giant sperm, and they make him drink a beer with a loogie in it. And then, of course, we get the most infamous scene. Ask me about my winner! Where he's dressed as a giant hot dog and yelling that out. Yeah, just as Bartleby. This is the scene where Bartleby goes to check it out. I already talked about that. And he sees all this dress, and then he sees Schrader dressed in that, and he's talking to Monica. Also, I also feel like some of the jokes are forced, because earlier in Monica, he's like, yeah, no, we were in the class, you know, we never met before. I do love that, but another one is, like, later, it's like, oh, I know, you're Hart Ambrose. You're the class president. You date Monica Moreland. That I do. Yeah, I masturbate. Huh? What? Yeah, I don't need you near that joke. But anyway, so the Dean Van Horn wants any building that's close to build so he can tear it down and build his gateway. And of course that means that this building is in the way. Meanwhile, Abernathy Darwin Dunlap, as I mentioned, heralds the arrival of a bazillion students, which I think are more... Because it's explained that the acceptance is a click away thing is actually, you just click it and you're accepted. Which, for the amount of students they have, I can't imagine there's enough dorm rooms for them. But, you know, they get someone who used... And I don't think they're all college age, though, because there's someone who used to be a stripper. This Deora Baird, gorgeous Deora Baird. And she's like a stripper or something, and she's like, I wanted to go to college and do design. And then the guy who brings the kegs, who I'm pretty sure is 30. Because later, like, and all these kids need a place to learn. And it's like, kids, I'm pretty sure that rocker guy is 30. And like, Justin Long was almost 30, but he's playing a teenager. But I'm pretty sure actually the rocker guy is actually supposed to be 30. Like, you can go to college at any age, I guess, but they call them kids, you know? But, yeah. And it's like, because then that's when Bartleby goes to see what it's like. Because he's like, first he's going to tell him, no, this is not real. But then he changes his mind. He's like, no, we got to do this. We got to help them out. And then he goes to figure out how you do at college. And he's like, you know what? I don't want college to be like that. I want them to feel free to do whatever they want. And you think that could be chaos, but it isn't. They write things on this board, and they got, you know, like, one wants to do design, one wants to learn how to rock, one wants to blow shit up with his mind. Jeremy Howard's in this movie, wants to blow shit up. I want to learn how to blow shit up with my mind. You know, Glenn wants to learn how to cook. Hans wants to learn how to sculpt and do art. You know, Rory wants to do nothing and relax, so she meditates, you know. ADD, Abernathy Darwin Dunlap wants to learn to slow things down. And I do like the joke where he's like, can I sit here? He sits down for 1 second. Okay, cool, that was fun, cool. And then it just cuts through, they have him in a straight jacket, forcing him to sit there and calm down. Like I say, he needs to be strapped down. Everything's going good. Glenn's making wads, which look disgusting, but it's like chocolate and stuff. There's every powerful, good flavor known to man. I want one of those wads, man. I want one of Glenn's wads. Which sounds dirty, but it's not. It's delicious. But this is where Hoyt shows up looking for the lease owner of the building so he can help build the gateway. And he encounters Bartleby, who he met at the orientation because he was sneaking in there to sneak around a little bit to get to find Schrader. So he's a little skeptical. And that's when he looks up South Harmon, and he's like, well, it's not real. He's like, this came out of nowhere. And so he uses Sherman and pretends to induct it. Well, first of all, he gets in trouble with Monica because he's making out with this girl. I thought her name was Gwen, but I think that's Van Wilder is the Gwen. By the way, that is literally stolen from Van Wilder. where it's like the dude in there, Richard, he was banging Gwen, right? Shut up, Gwen, I'm trying to concentrate. But like, yeah, so it's kind of stolen from that, but she sees him and she runs off, and Bartleby's giving her like a camera, and she shows up at this party they're having. Don't you forget about me. Where it's like, they're having some sort of old stuff. I do like the dude from Brink, Sam Horrigan. He's like, this party's off, Jane. He's like, hey. By the way, he was 30 at this point. I'm just pointing that out. I know for a fact he was 30 at this point. Okay? And he's playing a college student. But, yeah. And it's good, it's good to know that in the 3 movies I've seen Travis Van Winkle in, all 3 of his girlfriends have left him because he's an asshole. All 3. And in 2 of the movies, he literally cheats on his girlfriends. And in Friday the 13th, he cheats on his girlfriend. Both of those movies. In Transformers, he's just an asshole. By the way, canonically, because Michael Bay directed Transformers and he produced Friday the 13th, it's the same Trent. And I will not move from that. It's the same character. Because I think that the asshole in Transformers ended up in the Friday the 13th movie and he died because of Jason Voorhees. Because he's an asshole. That means he technically got broken up with by Megan Fox to get with Danielle Panabaker, and then cheated on her with what's her face, this stupendous tits chick. Is her name Brie in the movie? And then died. Right? I don't know. But yeah. But they trick Schrader into revealing the truth. They beat the crap out of him until he reveals the truth. And he sets up a Parents' Day where they reveal that everything is fake. I like the music that plays up. Dun 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 dun. The music in this movie is pretty good. Actually, you have Holiday by Green Day, which my sister had the CD for around this time. So yeah, it's a good soundtrack. So yeah, the school is forced to close. Bartleby is at risk of prison time. He should go directly to jail because extortion. He took money from people illegally without. Well, I guess he did provide a service. I guess, and it's like I'm watching this at some point. I'm like, how's he getting all the money for the money? Oh yeah, the tuition money. Using the tuition money to pay for all this stuff like a ramp and all that. But also, they explain later that they built the ramp, and that taught them engineering. So. They didn't buy the ramp, they built it, I guess. But, yeah. He goes to Schrader, and Schrader doesn't want anything to do with him, he rebuffs him. And Monica's mad at him, and, yeah. But then he goes to check the giant mail that they have at the place, and he finds that they have a meeting for accreditation of South Harmon. And it turns out that Schrader did set that up. He's like, come on. So Shredder turns good guy by the end of this, instead of being there. No, guy. He could be in Destiny's Child. No. And at them, yeah. No. You could be like Destiny's Child, you know what I mean? He's saying, no. But it'll be say, yeah. So, yeah. So they go to this thing, and I do like this. He's like, oh, we have a meeting in Hall B. Actually, you've been moved to the Great Hall. A meeting room B. So he's like, why? Because it's bigger. And everyone is there. And it turns out Rory called everyone. And even Monica is there. So, and it starts out as a normal thing. You have to state, you need a facility, curriculum, staff. They have a facility, and the demon horse, it's an old mental hospital, and they don't have like a gymnasium or a library or a medical thing. By the way, they point out, well, there's no medical area. It's a mental hospital. There's got to be an area with a medical place, medical something somewhere, right? It's an old mental hospital. There's got to be something somewhere with nursing supplies somewhere, right? Even if their stuff's expired, it's got to be somewhere. they're like, do you have a curriculum? And they bring in the board of stuff, and they scoff at that too. Like, how does one major in, I don't know what it was. So they kind of talk about it. In Rock Your Face Off, we listen to the music of the last generation, and we rock our faces off. And it's like, yeah, they talk about, like, you know, and that's just dismissed. Like, do we have a staff? Have our staff stand? And everybody there, the teachers are the students are the teachers. Oh, you cannot have teachers as students. Teachers cannot be the students. And at no point, and I always notice every time I watch this, at no point does anyone bring up the fact that the only reason he's trying to discredit these people is because he wants to build a stupid fucking gateway. And it's never brought up. At one point, you almost think that Lizzie's going to show up. At one point watching this before, not now, but a few years ago, after I haven't watched it for a while, I've tried to watch that. I thought, oh, Lizzie runs up and hands them something, and it gives them proof. I'm like, no, that's an episode of Drake and Josh Honor Council, where Megan shows up with Mindy's transcript and her grades. Transcript is her grades. Yeah. So I'm like, no, that's Drake and Josh. So what happens here is that Bartleby has asked the question, you produce the answer. Like, no, you know what? You've already made up your mind about us. And there's nothing we can say or do to even help our situation anymore. Because you just think it's always one way. And you never think of anyone dreaming, like, did you want to be an administrator when you grew up? Or maybe you wanted to do something else, right? Maybe you want to be a doctor or a lawyer. Or you wanted to a painter, an artist, or something like that. You know? And at some point you notice the dad is like, yeah, the dad's getting on his side. Like, parents, did you want to be where you are right now? Or did you want to do more? Like, someone want to be a firefighter, you know? And he's like, you judge us by the way we look and the way we are. And like, we'll be shitheads now. We'll be shitheads forever. Holy shit. And what happens is they give him a 1-year trial thing. And that right there is ripe for a sequel. Because you could set it up. Now, it's too late to do it now. It's been 20 fucking years. I am old. Oy! But, like, well, you could have, that's right for a sequel. Set it the year later, you're sitting here, and you have the Harmon dudes. You have Hoyt, and you have Van Horn, and Sam Horrigan, and whatever, trying to mess them up to get them discredited so you can build this gateway again. It's sort of a similar plot, but that's right for a sequel idea. But you don't. And even, let's face it, even if they did make a sequel, it'd be one of those sequels, because they did that in the 2000s, where it would be called Accepted, but it would be entirely new characters. It would be a different kind, Accepted 2, or Accepted blank, 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 blank. And it would be kind of like Road Trip Beer Pong, where it's sort of like that. It's at the same school, but it's a different kind of story. And have nothing to do with the cast from the original film. Surprised you ain't got that yet, and it's been 20 years. But, yeah, I do want to point out here, because Monica walks up to him, and I'm like, they didn't want to do the kiss. It's good they were supposed to have a big kiss, and it's just like they come up, they hug, little kiss, and come up, little kiss, and then hug. And then later there's another point at the end of the movie where it looks like they should kiss again. He's like, she's like, oh, I gotta get my new dorm. He goes, yeah, I think I remember it's next to mine. Oh, but now with an adjoining. Oh no, because that would be illegal. And it's like it's leading up to a kiss, but they don't. I think they just hug again. And it's like, oh, I bet you they didn't like each other, and they refused to do a big kiss. So they just did a little. You gotta have at least one kiss, one little smooch, peck, ding, and that's, yeah, because that kiss does not feel like it was earned. Like it's just like. And then a hug. I bet they didn't like each other. I don't have any production info, but I don't know. And yeah. And his dad is proud of him now. He owns a college and he's doing it. Yeah, he's proud of him now. And before we go to the credits, we cut to Dean Van Homer going to his car, and his car explodes, and then it cuts to Jeremy Howard and Justin Long, and Justin Long goes, and Jeremy Howard just goes, I told you. And it's not like this was unearned, because there was a point during the montage with Holiday where he's making the pineapple move. So it was set up that he could eventually do it. I don't know. You know. Which makes me sad. I would have loved to see a sequel with Jeremy Howard doing that. Come on. But, yeah. And I gotta say, this movie goes to the moon. Alright, I have some issues with it, but I love this movie. I love this movie. So yeah, I do. So what are your thoughts on Accepted? Leave a comment, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.